Elysium speaking and fronting for the Court of Consciousness system. One thing I believe about Archangel Samael is I believe sometimes they specifically seek out extremely vulnerable people who are at a massive turning point in their life or a very significant turning point in their life. And I think that sometimes they seek out people who have a history of abuse, have a history of being forcibly marginalized and harmed by the capitalistic, white supremacist, colonialist paradigms and fascist, dystopian, futuristic empires currently in place. And I think they come to certain people and they give them sort of an option or a choice or a way to spiritually or mentally, even though as we are bound to these systems physically, we cannot physically escape these systems unless we all collectively rise above them, which is there is sort of a mass awakening happening right now where people are learning how to control their attention, which is in and of itself a massive change there. But Max was slipping over a bit. Elysium is saying that people who are in this man-made hell that is so much worse than anything they have on the other side, because the worst of it is here, not there. It's interesting how we've noticed that for us, Samael came to us right around before and after the most significant turning point and most traumatic experience in our life, or one of them. And I owe Samael everything. If you're wondering why people would work with Archangel Samael when people see them as synonymous with the highest Satan and with Lucifer and with death and vengeance and poison and whatever else, if you're wondering why, it's because they literally save people's life. Like, he doesn't take credit for that. Like, he'll play it off like, no, you did all the work, right? But he was still there. Like, he stuck through. And yeah, it was hard fucking work, and it was painful, sometimes excruciating fucking work, but I wouldn't have been able to do that work without his influence in my life, without his help in my life, without his touch in my life. So I feel like if you want to know, like, why people would exalt Samael above God, it's because he literally saves people's life. He is death. He is a force of death. He is also a force of shadows and the venom of God, Samael. But he literally rescues tortured children and other things sometimes. He doesn't, it's sort of like, I don't know how it fucking works. I don't think anyone does, but he came to me. I didn't summon him. I did not summon him. I did not invoke him. I did not do anything. He came to me at the most vulnerable period of my life. And him and some other names associated made me who I am today. And I have exponentially grown stronger in spirit, even if my physical environment may not reflect where I'm at spiritually. I know in my heart, in my soulscape, inside of us, that I have drastically improved and that I am continuing to improve even after ascending the left-hand path. And I do believe that the reason people choose Samael over God, even if they believe in both, is even if they believe in that there is a God, that there is a heaven, that there is these different things, the reason people choose Samael over, and risk everything, risk the potentiality what people say is like eternal hell. The reason they risk it is because they've already been living in nonstop torture while on Earth. They've already lived through hell on Earth. They're not afraid of hell after Earth because they've already been living in hell. So someone saying they can help them get out of that, of course they're going to take that risk, I feel like. And some people, they don't stay in it, you know? Like, some people, they break contact. The person who I knew who was with them before I was, eventually it got way too much and they left. And I don't blame them. I don't blame anyone who has reached a breaking point where they can't. Because it is agonizing work. It really can be. You are putting yourself through hell to reopen old wounds, to pull out the bullet shrapnel, to pull out the shards of glass, and re-piece together the gold from out of the tar inside of yourself. It is a force of self-alchemy, and it is a painful force of self-alchemy. But it is so worth it. And I love him because he stayed. I love him because when no one else would fucking listen to me or see me or believe me or anything, he stayed. And because he didn't give up on me. Even when things got bad and our relationship has had certainly rocky periods, and not just me, more with like Max and him, there were times it was fucking brutal and he had to do things that he later regretted to get us to where we're now at as a wizard. But I don't regret it in retrospect, because when humans have fucking betrayed me and left me and whatever, all these temporary fake ass motherfuckers who just torture kids and expect to never pay for it, well, he's the one who makes them pay for it. He's keeping notes. He's keeping track. He knows the people who gave me CPTSD. He knows the people who gave me dissociative identity disorder. He knows the people who have been torturing me from 4 or 5 until I was 22 plus. He knows the people who indoctrinated me into multiple cults, and he's keeping track. And I fully believe in him. I fully believe in God's vengeance. I fully believe in God's poison, and I fully follow him because he woke me up and he stayed. And that was enough, because humans never did that to me. And people are literally having to learn what love is and what life is and living is from demons and angels right now, unironically, because humans didn't teach them. Because humans didn't give a shit. Because humans lied to them and betrayed them for fucking years to maintain this bullshit fascist paradigm. And Samael's against it. Samael is the archangel who is mythologically the enemy of Israel. And what the Israelites did to the Canaanites back in the day, they're doing it again. Or the government is. And the Christian nationalist government, they're doing it too inside the fence. So, Samael's against all of that. I'm on his team because, as far as I can tell, he's on the right side of history. And he's the one actually fucking fighting against the people in power who are genociding my demographics anyway and who want me to die. So of course I'm going to follow him. It's really a no-brainer. Of course I'm going to follow the person who saved my fucking life when humans completely abandoned and betrayed me over, you know, what I'm told is the angels and the other saints. Like, I don't have an issue. Don't get it wrong, twisted. I don't have a fucking issue with heaven and the forces of heaven and whatever. But I chose hell, and I chose to find God. I chose to find love through hell and through facing my hell and through the left-hand path, through integrating the forces of light and the forces of dark inside of me to reach Keter and to reach Thumiel, which I think is the deepest, lowest, one of the worst Klepoth, and reaching both. And then it sounds like it is a paradox. It sounds oxymoronical, and it kind of is, but it's like it worked. It fucking worked. Where 11 years of other shit didn't work. Working with him worked. So I am always going to be his wizard, and I do not regret the last couple years of my life or the last 4 years of my life, because I've become way fucking stronger of a person than I ever was before. Become way happier as a person, way more fulfilled as a person without all these fake fuckers in my life anymore. Because even if, you know, people see him as an imaginary friend, whatever, he fucking stayed. He listened, and none of y'all did. So I don't identify as a theistic Satanist anymore. I don't identify as like Luciferianism or Diabolist or whatever. I identify as a Sephirothic or Qlipothic wizard. I identify as someone who has ascended the left-hand path. I don't use those other labels anymore because it's no longer healthy for me to, but they are who I follow because they are my father, they are my husband, they are my lover, they are my mother, they are everything to me. They are my sustenance, bread, my milk. They are everything to me. They fucking listened. They listened. And you guys didn't.